I have uploaded this to you in the hope that you can learn the truth about Umbrella. Do not believe what you are told. This is a secure network. This is the truth about Umbrella. In the 1950s, three university students, Oswald E. Spencer, Edward Ashford, and James Marcus, bonded over their fascination with eugenics. Oswald E. Spencer in particular was obsessed due to him discovering a mutagenic black mold in Eastern Europe. It wouldn't be until 1966 that progress towards founding the Umbrella Corporation began, when Dr. Marcus developed a hypothesis that a flower situated in West Africa, known as the Stairway of the Sun, could give a consumer powers through a mutagenic viral infection. So in that same year, the three of them decided to go on a 3-month expedition in West Africa, which Edward Ashford funded. After some time, they eventually found the flower in an underground garden. They began running tests on the flower and discovered that there was a virus within it. They would go on to name it the progenitor virus. This virus was exactly what the three had hoped to find. It was able to revive dead cells. Flowers from the garden were sent back to the US in order for them to be analysed further, and so that it could be cultivated there. However, there was an issue. Any flower grown in the US did not contain the virus. Due to this failure, Spencer, Ashford and Marcus would need to keep a permanent presence within West Africa. This meant they needed further funding. It was no longer enough to rely on Edward Ashford's money. Oswald Spencer set up the Spencer Foundation and began looking for donors. It was during this period that Spencer and those within his circle would agree to use the progenitor virus to create a highly intelligent race of superhumans that Spencer himself would rule over. This would be done to ensure the survival of the human race. Thanks to the success of the Spencer Foundation, Oswald E. Spencer, Edward Ashford, and James Marcus founded Umbrella Pharmaceuticals in 1968. Despite their apparent partnership, the three of them agreed to conduct their own individual research on the progenitor virus that they would then sell onto the US military. Each partner would have their own underground lab, one of which is situated within the Arklay Mountains. A company facility was also built in West Africa that would harvest the flowers and then transport them onto the labs in the US. It was in 1968 that Dr. Edward Ashford died in his lab due to an accident. However, there is a rumour that it was no accident and that Oswald E. Spencer is responsible. This is due to him wanting sole ownership of the company. Despite Edward's death, Umbrella continued to grow at a rapid rate, and this was mainly due to Dr. Marcus's breakthrough in 1978. Marcus infected a test subject with an experimental strain of the progenitor virus. The subject survived after being infected, but there were some side effects. The infected subject was aggressive, cannibalistic, and had a severe decrease in intelligence. Despite these issues, Dr. Marcus had done it. To Umbrella, this was a huge step forward. Dr. Marcus's strain would be named the T-virus. Research continued on the T-virus, with Umbrella using the virus to create bioorganic weapons for the US military. Examples include the Cerberus and the Hunters. The research into BOWs was made possible by a new scientist, Dr. William Birkin. In the 80s, Umbrella Pharmaceuticals continued to grow. The company expanded into other industries in order to help fund their ever-growing research. These Umbrella subsidiaries include transport, tourism, industrial machinery, and consumer products. Do not be fooled by Umbrella's status. This is all a front. Due to this expansion, a new name was given to the company, the Umbrella Corporation. This expansion helped Umbrella develop more labs, not just in the US but abroad. An example of this is the establishment of Umbrella Europe. Despite these successes, there was an issue. Company executives were becoming increasingly more concerned by the behaviour of Dr. Marcus, who was becoming careless, especially in his treatment of company trainees, who he was using as guinea pigs for his research. Due to these increasing concerns, along with Spencer's intentions of becoming sole partner, Dr. Marcus was executed by corporate security, who stole his research in the process. Part of this hit team were Dr. William Birkin and Dr. Albert Wesker. Birkin continued Dr. Marcus's research in the hope of expanding on from the T virus. This was due to a partial percentage of the population being immune to the virus. Birkin's breakthrough came in the same year. The test subjects were able to mutate into what Spencer saw as the superhuman he had dreamt of. This new strain would be known as the G virus. The test subjects saw rapid increases in cell regeneration. In 1991, Umbrella opened up the Nest facility underneath the streets of Raccoon City in order to help Birkin continue his development of the G virus. It was in this same year that another big event occurred that allowed Umbrella to expand even further. This event was the collapse of the Soviet Union. The collapse allowed Umbrella to expand its paramilitary organisation. 3 organisations were formed to create this new wing: the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, the Umbrella Security Service, and the Umbrella Intelligence Divisions. It is these 3 divisions that have been able to eliminate any person who begins investigating the Umbrella Corporation. Many of those hired were ex-Warsaw Pact soldiers, mercenaries, and terrorists. The collapse of the Soviet Union also allowed Umbrella to expand its facilities into Eastern Europe. This expansion made Umbrella more dangerous than it had ever been before. Meanwhile, at Umbrella Europe, Umbrella were working on the Nemesis project. I do not know what this is, but my informants have told me that the project was established in the hopes of creating an intelligent parasite that will help deal with the issue of brain deterioration within the T virus. While Umbrella Europe worked on this, Umbrella US were continuing its work on the Talos project. The project hoped to use an AI to pilot a tyrant. Do not be fooled by Umbrella's so-called successes. Things are beginning to fall apart for them. It is during this decade that Umbrella's wealth is taking a big hit. This is due to corporate espionage from competing companies. Due to Umbrella's concerns, moles have been planted within the US military. One of these was Albert Wesker, who discovered that the US had plans to abandon Umbrella at some point, so that they could lead their own bioweapon program. Despite this, Umbrella's standing remained strong, but they knew it would not last forever. Umbrella's next big break occurred in 1998. Umbrella US and Europe integrated together to combine Europe's Nemesis project with Umbrella USA's Tyrant project to successfully create the Nemesis T-type. This is deeply concerning. Many of my colleagues have been threatened or have been eliminated by the UBCS for investigating the company. That is why it was necessary to get this information to you. I have heard rumours and seen unverified footage that Umbrella developed an anti-BOW facility at Rockfort Island. Why do Umbrella need to do this? What are they training for? Perhaps the most worrying and disturbing incidents were what occurred in the Arklay Mountains. On the 11th of May 1998, there was a containment failure within the Arklay Mountain facility. There are many theories as to what caused this. STARS member Rebecca Chambers has claimed that the containment failure was caused by an experimental BOW known as the Queen Leech. It was developed by Dr. Marcus and seeked revenge on Dr. Oswald Spencer because of Dr. Marcus's murder. Due to the containment failure, the facility was put on lockdown. However, experimental Cerberus BOWs were able to escape. The Cerberus were loose in the Arklay Mountains and ended up killing a number of hikers over the coming months. These hikers then turned into zombies and began attacking others. Thanks to my colleagues in Raccoon City, this story was not kept as quiet as other illegal activities by Umbrella. Concerned by these events, Umbrella turned to Albert Wesker, who was now in charge of STARS. Wesker was tasked with sending his team to the Arklay facility so that they could be killed by the BOWs. He would then collect combat data from the BOWs so Umbrella could see their effectiveness. Wesker would then destroy all evidence and leave. However, unknown to Umbrella, Wesker had joined a rival company. It is believed he thought Umbrella's collapse was inevitable. STARS lost a number of members during the incident. Only Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton and Rebecca Chambers survived. Wesker is presumed dead, although there have been some reports that he made it out alive too. The Arklay Mountain incident has been covered up. You cannot trust government officials. It is only a matter of time before something bad happens again. I implore you to believe what I am telling you. I have heard that, like Wesker, William Birkin is also looking to leave Umbrella. This will only end in disaster, and I fear that the people of Raccoon City will face the consequences. Many have died to give you this information. Make sure those deaths meant something. Take what I have told you today and pass it on, before it is too late.